I'm restarting that because that gave nothing. Okay. Hi guys, I know, Tuesday video, super weird, super crazy, but I wanted to do a special video where I react to a shell challenge that I completed. You may know Lil Simsy here on YouTube, but she recently just made a shell challenge for us called Shark Shell Challenge, okay? And I was just so inspired to really work with it and see what I could do, and I figured might as well record it, right? So I recorded this video, I'm gonna talk about it now, and it should be up in time for the Shell Challenge Tours videos that she does. And if you're coming here from her channel or her stream, welcome, and I hope you like the video. So let's get into it. I knew right away that I wanted to do an aquarium, okay? So that's what I'm working on here. First, I'm gonna start with the roofs. I really wanted this building to be dynamic, okay? It's already super weird, right? So I wanted to make it weirder by spiking up the roof a little bit. I mean, look at that. It looks interesting. It's like really jagged and there's movement there. I don't know. I kind of kept imagining like Sydney from Australia, like Finding Nemo Sydney, and for some reason it does remind me of an aquarium. I can't explain it. I can't even tell you if it's like common for aquariums to have spiky roofs or whatever, but for some reason I was just like leaning into this interesting type of architecture. Oh, okay. I will say this. I really like those windows. You saw those windows? They look like gills. Okay, this is a shark shell challenge. So I added these interesting windows. Again, I thought more along the lines of, okay, this is an aquarium with interesting architecture, so I'm gonna use these windows. But after putting them in, I was like, these kind of give a gill vibe. So it adds to the shark shell challenge. So I'm starting with some counters now, right? So when you walk into an aquarium or like a museum or even a zoo, anywhere, when you walk into anywhere, there's gonna be a front desk, okay? So I had to add a front desk to add some realism. Okay, so in my head, you're gonna have Sims working here. There's gonna be a desk, like maybe some computers to like, pull people's info up or literally whatever. And it's gonna be like a welcome kiosk type of thing. So that's what I'm starting to make here. And I have to say, and you did this, little SimCity, but this is a really weird geometry to work with. So I had to immediately move the front desk to more of like being in the middle of the building because the symmetry is just off everywhere else. So I had to move it. I had to move it to the center where there's like this nice little boxed in area is. So it's going there, and I added another side, so maybe like the front end can be like the welcome desk, and the back end can be like an info desk. I don't really know. I just really wanted it to be symmetrical because nothing else in this build is symmetrical, okay? Now there's all this area before you get to the desk, and so you don't really want to put all of the stuff that you pay for before you pay for it. So instead of putting some aquariums there, I decided to put like a lounge area. I don't know. I needed to fill in the space, and maybe that makes sense if you're like waiting for people you're going to the aquarium with to get there, or some complication, you want to sit down and you want to wait for you to be seen or something by the welcome desk. I don't know. Point is, there's a lounge there and you can chill if you want to. All right. If you play The Sims, you know that there aren't really any ways to make an aquarium. So I decided to use a bunch of pools. And this was a little tricky, not exactly too realistic, but I wanted to make an aquarium. This is what I set out to do, so I was gonna do it no matter what. And the way I decided to do it was put a bunch of pools in this first level. That's how it is. So I had to make it on the second floor so that you could see the bottom of the pool in the first floor. And that's basically what the aquarium is. You put some windows in and suddenly it's a fish tank, right? So that's kind of the vibe we're going for here. Like I said earlier, there aren't very many symmetric parts of this build, and so I had to place the aquariums accordingly so that, your Sims could actually use the space and walk around to each of the aquariums and walk around it and be able to see the fish inside. So the tanks themselves are relatively small, but this is just so that, you can navigate the space. At first glance, maybe that tank behind and in front of those two desks is a little bit weird, but I kind of wanted it to be more of like an accent wall. I wanted it to be interesting, so I put that in between those desks. I don't know if your Sims can get to those chairs, maybe from the sides, but anyway, I thought it would be a cool like kind of backdrop for the people who are working at the aquarium. Okay, so I have just decided the logo for this entire aquarium. I don't know what that logo is actually intended for, but I'm using it for my aquarium. And I thought it was pretty because it's like a big, nice, like neon lit sign, and it's a nice blue color. And that kind of goes with the whole theme I've decided for myself, obviously, with the aquarium. And you'll see it multiple times throughout this build. Okay, so in a second, you'll start to see that I'm working on the second floor. There we are. So now that I put the pools in here for the aquariums, I've kind of put myself in a weird position because now you can see the pools on the second floor. So I can't really put more aquariums up there for the guests to go see. So I decided to make it like a staff room for like the staff to care for the fish, feed the fish, like, you know, maybe scientists are doing science up there. So there's going to be some desks up there with the computer and, you know, a fridge for the zookeeper, the aquarium keeper to like feed the fish and everything. And I thought this was a really interesting idea and like a cool way to incorporate the second floor now that it has big, huge pools in it. But you can see I'm decorating it here. I use a lot of debug for this. You know, just putting some meat around to like pretend that people are going to be feeding these fish. I found shrimp too, so that's kind of interesting. I'm also finally working on the aquariums themselves. Okay, so this is a little weird, but there's a bunch of like debug fish that all kind of look dead, but I'm using them in these aquariums. But I thought this was the best way to make it look like a realistic aquarium is by using these fish. So don't mind the fact that they very well might be dead. Okay? Okay. So again, I'm just using debug, and of course I'm using 9 and 0 to like shift them up or down in the tank so that there's a little bit of dimension and it looks like there's things going on. There's fish swimming in there, so maybe it looks a little bit more lively. Like as it is right now, you could kind of imagine like the game is on pause and all the fish are like suspended and doing their own thing, and when you press play, they're like kind of going and doing their own thing. That won't happen, but it kind of looks like that might happen, you know? So I tried to make it look as lively as possible, is my point. I'm using these plaques as labels for each of the exhibits. So you can see that in front of the salmon tank, I'm putting a salmon placard or, you know, whatever it is. Just to, you know, again, sell that it's an aquarium and I'm showing off these fish, and maybe it's a little educational. Maybe there's like a blurb about where the fish is from or like a cool fact, you know. Again, we're playing a little bit of make-believe, but I think it's still a pretty interesting way to do it. Okay, so I'm adding some of these like alien fish on the second floor just to maybe sell the idea that there are scientists working up there and they are like doing experiments on these alien fish, and maybe they're going to add it to the aquarium soon, and you know, all these types of things. Maybe there's actual science coming out of here, who knows. I'm just kind of formulating a story, you know. Whatever you want to make of it, there's a story there, right? Okay, so I found another way to incorporate another fish tank. Okay, so remember that thing that I had there, the little see-through floor, the dance floor? Yeah, okay, so I decided to turn it into another tank. As you can see, I made a swimming pool and then I put the dance floor on top. I don't know how that's gonna work in game. I don't know if the Sims will fall through it or anything. I don't know whether or not they will register it as a pool or dance floor. So be mindful of that if you download this from the gallery. But it is a swimming pool with a dance floor on top of it. As you may notice, literally anything with a fish on it, I add, okay? I don't have very many Sims packs. I'm sure there are a lot that I don't have that have great items that would have fit into this aquarium, but I'm limited. So anything with a fish on it, anything blue, anything with like the essence of a water feature in it, I'm putting it in this build, okay? But at this point, I'm going ahead and putting more like science-y type things on the second floor because again, I want to convey this idea of like, there are scientists working up here, there are people who understand the aquarium animals working up here, who are feeding them, who are taking care of them, and obviously I'm not going to make this second level accessible to just the regular aquarium goers. So later you'll see that I actually put a stairwell like outside of the building that goes straight to the second floor for the staff only, and you'll see that later, but it's coming. you can see, I put in a parking lot that obviously your Sims won't be able to use because in The Sims 4 we don't have cars. So, you couldn't, visit this lot in your car and park in the parking lot. But again, I wanted to give the illusion of realism here and fill up some space and kind of make it feel more like a complete build. But there you go, you have a parking lot. Testing out a couple of different statues because I want to label this lot as a museum, obviously because they don't have an aquarium lot, but in order to do that you need a certain amount of statues. So I'm going in and I decide to make like a little sign for the parking lot using obviously this wooden sign and some rocks to kind of make my own custom sign. And then again, I put the logo for the aquarium on it. I'm toying with the idea of bathrooms, like the bathroom situation, where your Sim's gonna go to the bathroom, right? And then I was like, screw your Sims, I don't care about them. I'm making a staff room instead for the fake employees at this aquarium, right? So there I am making a little staff room. I was thinking about Planet Zoo the entire time I was making this, and I was like, yeah, I kind of need a staff building, right? A place where the staff can go and go to the bathroom, like eat their lunch or, take their break, whatever you want to think about. But that's what I'm building here. And I'm connecting it to that stairwell that is only for the staff, leads up to the second floor, only for the staff, so that they can take care of the animals and whatever else. So we're getting to the end of this build now, and as you can see, I'm like making the final landscaping choices. I didn't originally intend to make this on this big of a lot, but I did. So at this point, I'm like, I have a lot more space to cover. So I'm just putting a bunch of trees, trying to fill it up a little bit more. you know, in hindsight, this was meant to be like a sort of community lot, right? So I probably should have added some things to help your Sims get their skills up or their needs met. Thinking about that now, it would have been a good idea, but there's no reason that you couldn't add this in if you download it from the gallery. Okay, and that is the end of this video. I want to thank you for watching it, and I hope you had a good time watching it. And at this point, you're just gonna see some drone footage, you know, the final result, what it all came out looking like, some views of the inside, the outside, and, you know, overtop views, whatever else. So I hope you had fun here, and until next time, I'll see ya.